We are joined by Audrey Chidenje in the studio, and we're going to be discussing the book, The Diary of Songs by Munashe Sibanda. Good morning to you, Audrey.
Good morning, Marisa. Loving the hair.
Thank you. I do know that you are following suit.
Yes, inspired by you, of course.
Absolutely fantastic. You won't go wrong. It's much cheaper as well.
Awesome.
Trust me. Right. Look, so I'm looking at this book, and it says A Diary of Songs, and it has music notes on it. And you know me, I'm a song in itself. And but this book is not really about songs, is it?
Yes, it's poems and it's short stories, and he says it was inspired by just going through his life. It's like a diary, you know, like a normal diary, everyday diary, but he puts it in songs and he puts it in short stories.
Wow, it's quite a lot of stories that he has in here. Tomorrow Never Speaks is one of them. Tomorrow Never Speaks. Did you go through that one?
I did. But for me, I'll start with the dedication. I love the dedication to the poor, weak, and oppressed. Why I'm focusing on this is a very young man. You know, I'm always saying the youth of today are very deep and profound.
Wow.
Only if you listen to them and hear what they say.
I think that's the key word, only if you listen to them. And I think the youth do have something to say. They do have a story. And, you know, it's lovely to see them penning down their ideas and publishing, getting their books out there for us to read and, you know, kind of delve into their minds.
100%. And the one thing about these youth of today is they're actually bold. They're not scared to put themselves out there, as opposed to us, you know, from our generation. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and you know, I'm sorry, I was reading this and it's like a prayer of a father. He is a father, is he?
No, he's not.
He's not yet, so
Not
this
yet.
is imagination. But
Yes.
I'll just read a part of it. It says, as I say, O Father, I look like I lack sense. Some neigh for the progression of their generation. Even I always instruct my son. But today, with my rugged knees, I'm going to pass my pleas for my daughter. I know you do not despise the prayer of the destitute. It's nice how he's kind of encouraging that word of prayer from a father's perspective.
Exactly. And I think it comes from the fact that he writes from a Christian perspective.
Right.
So if you look at the synopsis, it says this comprises real experiences, and they're written in the form of mainly poems and a few sections named Breathe. So he's saying, you know, you go through life, but there's that point where you just breathe.
Right.
And then, so this writer, like I said, very profound, very daring, very different, but very deep as well. I like the poem which says Lazarus. I don't know if you can go through that one, if you can see it, or maybe let me read it.
Yeah, maybe you go ahead.
Let
and
me read
while I
this.
look for it and
It
find
says, Lazarus, this, oh, no, these waters flow from the fountain of life. That, oh, my thus, words proceed from the end of the earth. Of light peeps it means there is hope, but for some of us there is not. His woes were witnessed, his death evident, Lazarus, and your kingdom's glory. In 4 days, a man can be transformed by the Maker to what would have taken 4 years. And he goes on to write more like on a motivational, but putting it in a realistic
way.
point of view. Yeah.
That's incredible. So, I mean, look, I'm flipping through and I'm also headed to close to the end of the book, or maybe the middle. Are these the short stories that you're talking about, like unraveling?
Yes.
Okay. What are the short stories about? Obviously, still about his life journey? Or?
Yes, but then you know how, I was even laughing at him saying, so he says there are people who like poems and there are people who like short stories in one book. But you know how people always assume that poets are just poets. But I've seen people are now dabbling into both worlds. So he puts it in a short story, just trying to attract that person who likes short stories. But I'm not going to say much on those short stories. There are a few, and I want people to buy the book.
And I think, you know, just looking at the structure of how he's really penned this book, it's like the short stories are the breathe part, you know, because he has a whole list of poetry, and then there's the short stories, and then another poetry, and then short stories. So it's looking like quite an interesting journey, I should call it, in here. I do see some Shona in here. He has some Shona in one of his poem pieces.
Yes.
So that's very good to, you know, incorporate, because we always talk about that issue of identity and just being able to, you know, delve into who we are as Zimbabweans who speak Shona and Ndebele, whichever dialect that we have in this country. So it's good that he touches on that.
And even his name, it's Shona and Ndebele, so that is very interesting as well.
Exactly, like put together in one. Okay. Is he Ndebele guy?
Both.
Both.
Yes.
Both. That's very good. So, how much is this book, Audrey, and where do we find it?
This book is going for $15. Chitter. I mean, for the so many pages, it's definitely worth it. Right now, it's being sold at Mambo Bookstore in Gweru, or you can get it direct from the author. His social media handles are Munashe Sibanda on Facebook and Munashe Sibanda on Medium. I didn't know there was a thing called Medium. Yes.
That's another XYZ.
It's another social media platform, so
That's
you can
interesting.
find it, and then you can also join Marisa if you want.
That's interesting. That.
Yeah.
And also some of the lessons that we draw from this book.
All right, the lessons, I actually found one point we need to discuss that one. So the first one is the poor will always be remembered, and then women have misunderstood power. Put a pause on that one. Then the man who can't be taken down by any other man. It is a woman who will take him down. That's the one I wanted to talk about. It seems the issues with women here.
The man who can't be taken down by another man, it is a woman who will take him down.
Yes.
I kind of agree with that because there's always a weak spot that a man will have for a woman. It's like anodzikamiswa nemukadzi. Yeah, that's probably the angle that I would take it. Or you know how the man would be like, I need to get home at 4 o'clock. I have to just be home with my wife and my kids or whatever it is.
Okay.
You know, but if it's another man, I mean, maybe there's that element of kudererana.
Oh, all right. So I had taken it in the
From
sense,
a different perspective.
Yeah, from, you know how like they say in history, the greatest men were all taken down by women. Look at the French Revolution, Louis the King, it was Marie Antoinette who actually contributed to his downfall. etc. That's the angle I taken. And obviously I taken the streets. You know, the streets right now, it's like they're always against women. These jokes against women.
Yeah.
It's always women that, and I particularly don't like it.
Yeah, well, this is it's probably a topic and a story for another day because it's quite vast and quite controversial, obviously, as to how people see. So let's see through pink eyes and through blue eyes, I think, for the next time we have this conversation.
100%.
That's good. So, I mean, one of them is the poor will always be remembered. I looked at that and I was like, okay, the poor will always be remembered. I think everybody will always be remembered in a certain kind of level. What is that? What is this lesson all about?
I think more often, like with social media, I think these days, people are always posting their best, you know what I mean? It's the best meal. People are not going to post their meal at home. It's always that restaurant
When
where
they go
went
out
to a man's, then they'll post that. So I think people, the poor and the rich, back in the day it was the social classes, but I think social media has also made this social class debate very big. So yeah, I think he's just speaking to the poor to say, whether you think you're poor in spirit, poor in money, poor in whatever, you will also be remembered. And you're also important, like you're saying.
Yeah, I think everybody's important. Everybody has a story to tell. And anyways, we see he's also written another book. He doesn't have just one.
Yes, this is his second book. The other book was called The Devouring Fire, and it was nominated for the African Christian Authors Book Awards in the Bible study category.
That's incredible.
That is actually big. And, I just think, like I said, initially we just wish these authors will keep on writing, putting their work out there, putting the name of our country out there.
I think it's very important. Look, Audrey, sometimes we read international authors and we're like, okay, this is better. It's just like watching international football. Some people are like glued on that, but we have our local football and we also have our local writers. And I think as much as they are doing the work, you are also an author. As much as you're doing the work, I think it's also up to us, the readers, to also read this stuff. You know, we always give you these local books to discuss because there's a vast number of them. And we do encourage you to, kind of take time to buy one or two and just read and get in the minds of what is happening on our local scene because they do have a lot of thoughts on that as well.
Yes.
So,
and on that note, let me just thank you, the producers, the owners of this platform. I had an author from Ontario. We're going to review the book next week. They were so grateful that there's such an opportunity like this to actually tell the world about their books. So you're doing a good job.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Producer, for always aligning this. And thank you, really, to the people behind Zim Papers Television Network. We do love to give you local content. We do love to keep you informed as to what's happening. And you can actually be a part of it as well. If you have a story to write, a story to tell, do get in touch with us. And we will be sure to, kind of put you on the platform to drive that out as our narrative of putting local first. Audrey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Marisa. See you next week.
See you next week with a different look, I hope.
100%.
I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait.